what I'm doing is using a lining pen, and I am picking out the handrails and door handles in silver paint. There we go. Can you see the silver? It's probably difficult for the camera to pick up, but it looks very effective. I've done the, make sure I don't grab it where I've got paint, done the front handrails as well. So I'm going to press on with this. Oh, I've made a mess, I've got to clean that. Hello everybody, and welcome back to the Blue Pullman restoration project. This is video part 3. Now then, I noticed on the front of the actual Blue Pullman a very prominent feature are the air horns that are tucked up under the front, just below the buffer beam. And I thought, as I'm doing all this work on it, I'd actually bother to fit some. So I've obtained these. I think they came through from Peter's Spares, and they're nice brass air horns. Difficult to get the picture there. Of course, we're going to need something to lift them down from the underside of the chassis, and that's where this comes in. These were measured up by myself and then produced by a really good friend of mine who's got one of these 3D printers, and he's printed these specifically for this purpose. So I have now got one in place, slightly smoothed down. The horns will be mounted on it, and it doesn't get in the way of the bogie because I've measured it, and it should be spot on when it's done. So that's the project for the moment, and I'll show you the progress a bit later on. Okay, so here's the block now of the horns fitted, grooved, and then I used a soldering iron to push them in and a little bit of glue to secure them. So there we go. The next thing to do is to try it at the front end and make sure it doesn't fail the bogie moving at all. And a little bit of paint on the horns, and that'll be that done. Well, apart from the fact I've got to do the other end as well. Well, there they are. That seems to be about right. They just need to be painted up.
Hi mate, and what are you up to today?
Well, it's time finally to fit the transfers to the nose ends of the Blue Pullman. I have one cut here ready. It's by Fox Transfers. I've never actually put transfers on anything ever before, so I'm a little bit nervous as I've only got one go at each end because there is only two. You have to pop them in some water, which has got a bit of washing up liquid in, and then wait whilst they loosen. It's been in there for nearly a minute, a bit more perhaps, I don't know. Time to see if it's loosened off.
And how do you do that?
Well, you've got to get it out and just see if you can slide it off the back end a little bit, which is a very tricky thing. Oh yes, it's totally loose. So we're going to have to go for it, aren't we? Nervous stage is approaching. And what they say to do is to slide it off the back end. See, it's loose. Hold the transfer in place and slide it off like that. And she's on there, we just need to level it up. Does that look alright?
It does from this perspective.
It's very slippery, look.
Well, that's why you have to leave it, I think, to dry.
Yeah, it says you've got to blot it. So I've got a bit of paper here and just carefully blot it. Looks a little bit off to me, but it doesn't want to slide, so I don't think I'm going to pull it around because it might break it, mightn't it?
So you're going to show us the finished?
I'll try to hold it under the light. You won't be able to get that close. It's still drying, but that's better, isn't it? It's quite a nice golden crest. A little bit more elaborate than the original Triang one. What we have decided though is we're not going to replace these little side ones, because although I have got plenty of the little side ones, I don't want to move too far away from the original Triang model. She'll lose some of her authenticity then, won't she? So,
job done.
So that's that end done. I've got to do the other end now. So at this point, I'd really like to thank everybody for all their help and advice with this project. The RM Web Forum as ever, the people on the Facebook groups, the Blue Pullman Facebook group, and particularly Nick Harling and BRCW for this beautiful painting of a Blue Pullman called White Peak. I'll put a link in for both of these, and it's well worth visiting. And I say there's a Facebook page for the Blue Pullman as well. But anyway, without further ado, let's have a look at the Triang Blue Pullman restored. The Triang Blue Pullman restored. I think you can just see the horns peeping out from underneath there. The transfers I was dreading, and you know what, I'm not happy with them. I read the instruction, they said you could adjust them for a little while, but as soon as I got them onto the front of the Blue Pullman, they stuck like glue instantly. Now, I'd left them for 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes soaking, so I thought that would be enough, but I felt that if I was to try and push them around, they would probably break up. So I may have to get back onto Fox Transfers and see if they'll sell me a few of the bigger ones to go on the nose ends. I don't know what you guys think, but to me that looks slightly off. But what do you think of her? There she is, 53 years old perhaps, maybe more. You can see, and all the little bits that I've done, the door handles all picked out. It's all been cleaned. She's a 6 car because the seller very kindly sent me another coach for no charge whatsoever, just to make it up to a proper 6 car unit, which I thought was really kind of him. So many thanks to Edward for that. Triang Blue Pullman, everyone.